Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Please recite 3 salawats. Wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمن محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله، يا إمام الرحمة يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين، يا علي بن أبي طالب، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا وجيها. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد، يا قرة عين الرسول، يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله، اشفعي لنا عند الله، يا وجيهة. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند اشفع لنا. يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيحا عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها عند
اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى، أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي، أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد، أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها.
يا الله يا الله.
يا وصي الحسن والخلف الحجة، أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا.
Everybody together.
يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا وجيها
Ya Allah, Ya Allah.
يا سادتي وممالي إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وعدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله، وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله، فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله، فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله، وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله، فكونوا عند الله رجائي. يا سادتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين، ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين. آمين يا رب العالمين. صلوات.
Please welcome Moulana Asad Jafri with a loud salawat.
The month of Ramadan is a month of forgiveness, a month of mercy. If I can please ask you to join me in reciting a Surah Fatiha for your marhumin and for mine and for those who were killed in Iraq recently in the bombing in Karada, and for all the shuhada of the nation of the Jafri fiqh. Inshallah, Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم صل على محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، الذي لا يدركه بعد الحمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا والشفيع ذنوبنا، سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين، صاحب العصر والزمان، خليفة الرحمن، إمام الإنس والجان، ولعن الله أعداهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صلاة على محمد وعلى محمد, please. Yesterday, for those of you who are with me, we began to scratch the surface a little bit about talking about this bridge between the act of fasting and the achievement of taqwa. And as an introductory speech yesterday, we couldn't quite get to our topic. I am here, inshallah, for 10 more nights with all of you, and we do have a topic in mind, and we'll get to that in one moment. Before that, as I mentioned yesterday, it's important as a family unit with yourself and your wife and your children that you sit down and you create a plan for the month of Ramadan. What is it that you wish to achieve? And you work towards achieving that, inshallah. If that first qadam, that first step comes from all of us, then the remaining steps, of course, come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what should be our goal? What should be the plan? There are several, and whatever you wish or you deem to be special and worthy and significant, you create that plan for yourselves. However, what is for sure mentioned in our hadith and in the Quran itself is to have this ashna, this love, this connection towards the Quran. We talked about the love of Allah yesterday and how much He loves us, how much He has compassion and mercy towards us. Naturally, our reaction to that is that we should equally have love for Him and His words as well. The reality is that us and the Quran are not as strong as we would like it to be. When somebody dies, when somebody gets married, the Quran comes out. Otherwise, it's not a primary factor inside of our life. And as somebody asked, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, may Allah protect him, that what is one of the best acts to do during the zuhur of Imam al-Zamana, he says that the hukumat, the government of the Imam of our time, will be led by the Quran. What better way to prepare for the arrival of the Imam when your home is already led by that same Quran? And so this transition between your hukumat in your house to that of the Imam's hukumat will be seamless, will be a very easy transition. And so what I would like to do in these next 10 nights is open the Quran, examine various verses of the Quran, pick 10 unique verses, and present them to all of you, one per night, on different topics and different mawzu. We'll look at the tafsir a little bit to, of course, within half an hour to 40 minutes. But just to give my youth especially a little bit of a preview, an idea of what is actually inside the Quran. Before we get into today's verse, a little bit of a discussion about the Quran itself, talking about the reality of those veils that we have between us and the Quran, and possibly trying to handle how to remove those veils. Before that, one loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, please. You see, the reality is this, and my parents and the teachers in Madrasa and the Saba Academy, I'm sure they go through the exact same challenge, and that is convincing the youth of today that the Quran will have some meaning in their life. There are several obstacles on the path. Number one, for those of us who are not Arab, we don't know the Arabic language. The language itself is a barrier enough. Yes, our kids have been taught how to read Arabic, but most don't know what they're reading. And so now you're asking the youth to be closer to a book that's not in their mother tongue or mother language. Perhaps they strain themselves in reciting the Quran itself. And so what they do is they're told to pick up a translation and read that translation. And then there are all sorts of very interesting translations out there. You have words like thou and thine and thus and thy, and people again say this is weird English. So yes, the Arabic I can read, but then of course the translation is not so accurate. So let's go to tafsir. And of course in the English language there is a select amount of tafsir out there. We don't have a single set of a complete tafsir in English in the Quran out there. It's a tragedy, but we don't have it. Even if we did have it, the youth are told by people like me that you have no education to be able to pick the Quran up and do your own tafsir. So now not only is it in a book that is outside your language, in a translation that you don't understand, but the meaning of the book also, you are not to touch. The book was meant to be taught, not meant to be picked up by anybody and talked about. So all these obstacles force our youth to leave it on the shelves. When somebody dies, you read one juz, one part, and you move on. That's it. Now when people like me come from far away and we talk about the fact the month of Ramadan, please, read the Quran, open the Quran, one in 1 year, out the other. So let's try to tackle initially today in the first half of our discussion why it's important to have a little bit of a movement towards Quran, and then look at this verse that we have up on the screen today. In terms of the language, a lot of us believe that if I simply read the book and not understand what I'm reading, it has no effect on me. And no doubt, of course, the ulama of akhlaq, the ulama of ulum Quran have talked about the fact that if you can read 10 verses a day with translation, it's great. But if that translation isn't there, the impact is still there. And again, as I like to do, as all of you know my style of speaking, I use stories to get my point across. So let me tell you a very simple story between a grandfather and a grandson to get my point across. All of you with me, inshallah? Yes? Thank you. So I want you to imagine in a city in the US, there is a home where a grandfather and his grandson lives. A lot of these uncles that I have seen after so many years now, when I knew you 10 years ago, you were just fathers. Now all of you, mashallah, are grandfathers. But you still think you're only fathers. That's the beauty of it. A grandfather and his grandson. The grandson does everything that the grandfather does. He eats what the grandfather eats. He talks as he talks. He walks as he walks. Even dresses like his grandfather. His superhero in his world is his grandfather. Now, grandfather had a very beautiful adat and habit. Every single morning after breakfast, he would recite the Quran. He was a non-Arab. And every single morning, the grandson will come down and sit at the table and watch his grandfather read this book in a very foreign language. And once, of course, the grandfather was done, he would close the book, put it away, and he would move on with his day. Until one day, the grandson, in his curiosity, a very young child, says, "Dada, why do you recite this book in Arabic when you and I don't know the Arabic language?" Now, the grandfather could talk about the philosophy of the Quran and wahi and nuzul and tahrif and all that, but the kid is 6, 7 years old. He decides to show him. Takes him to the backyard. In the backyard, there's a wicker basket. Wicker, of course, has many holes in it. Inside that basket are black coals that they use for the barbecue. All right? He says to his grandson, "I want you to empty this basket, go down by the river, fill up the basket, and bring water back for me." Listen very carefully. Now, of course, grandfather says something, I have to do it. So with a lot of eagerness, he empties the basket of coal, takes a basket, runs to the river, fills up the basket, runs back, and says, "Dada, here you go, here's your basket." Of course, the basket is what? Empty. The water, of course, has seeped out through the holes. Dada looks inside the basket and says, "There's no water in here. Can you go run a little bit faster, come back and bring me water?" He goes, "Yes, sir." He goes, runs back, sprints to the river, sprints right back. In the meantime, all the water has seeped out. A third time, a fourth time, a fifth time now, Dada keeps asking him, go back to the river, until he slams down the basket and says, "Dada, you're making a fool out of me right now. You know and I know this basket can't hold the water." He says, "I know that this basket can't hold the water. So why did you make me go back and forth to the river in a basket that can't hold this water?" He says, "Look inside the basket." The grandson looks inside the basket and sees the basket is sparkling clean. Before that, the basket was completely black from the coal. He says, "There's no doubt that you couldn't hold on to the water, But as the water fell through the holes in the basket, it cleaned and cleansed the basket at the exact same time. So when you and I read the Quran, we may not know what the meaning is. The meaning of the Quran might fall through the holes of our hearts. But as those words go through our heart, it cleanses and purifies our heart at the exact same time. Just like this basket is completely clean and flawless, your heart also, with every single verse of the Quran, also purifies itself at the same time. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, please. If you could grunt or hum or ha so I know you're listening and not asleep, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. One loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, please. So the Quran is not this idea where you have to have the 7 layers and 70 layers of every verse and every word for you to have any impact on your life. No, sometimes simple tilawat is enough for us to have impact. They say even those who are the hafiz of the Quran, when they read the Quran, to look at the words. Right? It has barakat for your eyes. On Shab Qadr, you open the Arabic and you put it on your head. It has barakat in that dua. Right? So let's bridge the gap between us and the Quran. Point 2 I want to make before we get to the verse. And that is that if we wish to build a relationship with Allah in this month, and everybody here of course wishes that. There's nobody here that wishes not to build that relationship. You do know and you should know, I know all of you know, in psychology when they talk about family counseling, they say that a fortified, strong family is that family where communication is very frequent inside that home. Oftentimes when we counsel couples and we talk about their problems, they mention small problems, which of course relate back to major problems. When we get down to the major problems, the fundamental major problems always include communication. Where the wife complains, Moulana, I talk to him, he doesn't even respond to me. I wait for him all day to come home, 8 hours, 9 hours. I have so much to say, so much to discuss. I just want him to give me half an hour of his time. But he comes on and says, I'm tired, put on my tea, let me watch my news and my sports. Or the case may be where I'm talking to him and he's either on his phone or looking around, watching the television. He's listening to me, but is not really communicating back with me. Or when he listens, he says nothing in return. These are all one-way communication models of families, and they're bound to fail. A true family, a successful family is one where communication is both ways. The wife talks to the husband responds. The husband talks, the wife responds. Us and Allah are no different. Communication between us has to be two-way. There are moments where we talk and Allah listens. There are moments where Allah talks and we listen. And the ulama says that when we talk and Allah listens, we call that salat 5 times a day. But when Allah talks and we listen, we call that the Quran. So if you are one-sided in your communication where mashallah you don't miss a single salat, but you don't open a single page of the Quran, it's a one-sided relationship. And that's not strong. There are some of you, mashallah, outside the month of Ramadan who are attached to the Quran. And if I ask you about you and Allah, you'll say it's very strong between us and God, and that's great. So we're trying to build that communication model between us and Allah where it's two-way. Sometimes He talks and we listen. Sometimes we talk and He listens. So that's really my purpose in the next 10 nights. That we'll have the verses up on the screen every single day. We'll have a different verse on a different topic. Those of you who have smartphones, you can follow along as well. And we'll attempt to dissect a little bit of the themes that we have in the Quran that I believe might be beneficial towards our lives. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our first ayat of today, many of the ulama of tafsir have called it the tragedy of mankind. From Surah Hajj, verse number 73. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all talks to mankind. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhan nas. Those of you who have studied a little bit of the Quran, you know that sometimes the Quran speaks to very specific people. Sometimes it's a very broad and general message. Sometimes it's Ya Ahl Kitab, sometimes it's Ya Ayyuhal Ladhina Amanu, and sometimes it's Ya Ayyuhan Nas. When Ya Ayyuhan Nas is the beginning of the verse, the Mufassirin usually have said that it is a broad message where mankind can benefit, not just the mu'mineen, not just those who believe in Allah. And then he has a very interesting way of beginning this dialogue with those who are all of mankind. Keep in mind that within Ya Ayyuhan Nas are the kuffar, the munafiqeen, the mushrikeen, the mu'mineen, everybody. He says, ضُرِبَ مَثُلٌ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. An example, a mithal has been set forward, so listen very carefully. He does not say who the example is given by. There are moments in the Quran, for example, in Surah Tahrim, he says, ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا, for example. Very clear that Allah is the one that created this example. But in this verse up here on the screen, he's very general and saying, look, it's not important who's giving you the message itself is important. There are some people who naturally, when they look at a speaker before he utters a single word, they've already decided, I'm going to listen to him or not listen to him. Right? Yesterday, for the first time, when I came here and I walked towards the stage, many of you looked at me and right away thought to myself, you know what? This is 45 minutes of me online surfing the internet. Right? This person, I know him very well, he has nothing to offer, and I don't have nothing to offer you. I have nothing to offer me. So right away, their minds right now, as they are right now, they're turned off completely. Right? So before you could even say a single word sometimes, the speaker, the audience has already decided that I'm not going to listen to him. Can you imagine now, within this Ya Ayyuhan Nas are the mushrikeen who believe in multiple gods. If Allah says this example is by Allah, the moment they hear Allah, they turn their brain off. So Allah says, look, generally speaking, this is an example. فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. Those of you who know a little bit of Arabic and a little bit of fiqhi Arabic, you know sama'a and istama'a are two different things in the fiqhi language. A lot of our youth ask us about music. And that music that we find in malls and restaurants and elevators and hotels, say, what do I do? Do I go to the restaurant? Do I listen to the music? What about, do I go to the owner and say, can you turn off the music while I'm here? What do I do? And that's when the fiqh has sama'a and istama'a. One, of course, is to hear. One is to listen very carefully. Right? You're walking around the mall and you're shopping, let's say, and there's music on. And you hear it as background music, but you don't really listen attentively to it. The ulama say that's okay. But if you find yourself in a store and your song is on, you're like, this is my jam. And now you make some extra rounds around the stores until the song finishes, that's called istama'a. That's problematic. Right? Islam does not want you to walk into the mall, go to the manager and say, look, I'm here for 2 hours, turn off the music, when I leave, turn it back on. They'll call security on you and say, can you please leave the premises? Here, the ayat is saying, فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. So listen very carefully. And then he addresses those, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. For those that you call upon besides Allah. And this is where Allah uses imagery. And His imagery is beautiful. Sometimes He uses rocks and flowers and clouds and suns and moons. Sometimes He uses animals to get His point across. He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا وَلِيَجْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. That those that you call upon besides Allah, there could be idols outside of you or idols inside of you. Know that these idols, these gods with a small g, these multiple gods out there that you call upon, they're not even able to create a fly, a dhubab, a makki as they say in Urdu, a magas as they say in Farsi. The most insignificant, annoying, buzzing animal that we swat at in the summertime. That's the example that Allah uses here. That these are people that you're relying on, that you are begging for, that you're knocking on their door. These people can't even create a fly. وَلِوَجْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. If they got all of their resources together, every dollar, every dirham, right? Everyone from Washington, everyone from Saudi comes together. Everyone from Tel Aviv comes together. All the brain power sit together. How can we create this fly? And they put every resource possible, all the oil money, all the blood money, everything comes together. The Quran says even after all of their resources and all of their brain and all of their gold and oil and everything, they still can't create a single fly. And then Allah becomes a little bit bold. Then he gets serious after a while. The very next statement in the verse, he says, forget creation of those flies. وَإِن يَسْلُبُهُمْ ذُبَابُ شَيْئًا لَا يَسْتَنْقِذُوهُ مِنْهُ. Forget creation of a fly. If that fly takes something from them, they can't even bring that thing back to them. I'll give you an example. Oh, this is such a beautiful verse. Sometimes in the summertime we go for picnics, right? We pack up our food and our sheets and our chadar. We invite the entire khandan. Everybody comes, the whole family comes. We go, us and our fruit and our family, everybody, and the flies. We're all there. Right? The flies also join us. Correct? We cut some fruit, watermelons there, and we have one guy, we do at least, we assign one guy to just swat the flies away all day. Usually it's part of my in-laws, but that's a different story altogether. Swatting the flies away. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in a park, you're having a picnic, and in front of you is this plate of watermelon. Sorry for the image, half an hour before iftar, but a plate of watermelon, and a fly lands on that watermelon, does something and takes off. The Quran's challenge is that I want you to ask those people that you call upon besides Allah to chase that fly down and bring it back, that piece of watermelon it took. If it takes something from you, salb, if it takes something from you, you can't even get that back. That's how weak those are, min dunillahi, who are besides Allah. That's why he ends off the verse by saying what? Not only da'af talibu wa matlub. Not only is the one who seeks these small g gods weak, but the gods themselves are weak as well. The seeker is weak, the sought is weak as well. The talib is weak, the matlub is weak as well. And he paints this picture of the weakness of those that you call upon besides Allah. And then the next verse, Mustafa, is the verse after 74. Where now this is the encompassing tragedy of mankind. This is after he has determined, Allah has determined that look, these people that you call upon that are not me, these idols you worship that are not me, these people that you bow your head down, that you sacrifice your soul for, that you change your name for, that you try to be like them and act like them and dress like them and talk like them and have a lahja and accent like them, these people are all weak. Forget guide you, they can't even create a single fly. And then it talks about the fact that what you've done to Allah, ma qadar Allahu haqqa qadarihi, inna Allah la qawiyyun aziz. You have not given Allah His right, His qadr, as they say. In Arabic, Urdu, and Farsi mean the exact same thing. Somebody's value, somebody's rightful value. You haven't given that to Allah. Look at the pain Allah is in this verse. That what more do I need to do for you to understand that these small G gods are nothing? I am the one you should come and turn to. But the reality is that if you look at all the way from the Prophet's time through the Imams to today, we as a human race now, generally speaking, ya ayyuhan nas, we haven't given Allah His qadr. We haven't given Allah His rights. As I mentioned yesterday, some of us, people like me, we have this relationship with Allah almost as if He is the slave and we are the master. We call upon Him, He comes running, we say thank you very much, you can go back to your corner now. And this is where, we have to stop and think. He ends off by saying, just in case you didn't know, Inna Allah la qawiyyun aziz. He is the power. This lam in front of la qawi is lam milkiyat. Meaning what? The specific property of qawi belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's nothing powerful in this universe, Allah is the all-powerful. First, it's very ajib. First, he talks about the weakness of everything else, then talks about the strength and the greatness of himself. And then says, why would you go and knock on anyone else's door when this world has time and time again disappointed you, and I have never disappointed you? He challenges us in this verse, that when is it that you have called me and I have not answered you? How many times have I escaped you from the hardships and given you that solution and given you that potential to, remove yourself from that hardship? La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. I don't place a burden, Allah says, in front of you without giving you that capacity, that potential to remove yourself from that burden. And yet you go call somebody else? And yet for a couple of extra zeros in your paycheck, you throw my sharia out the window? And yet for a green card and passport, you sell out your soul? And yet for a travel ban now, you just simply stop going everywhere? This is not the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to have a little bit more trust in Allah. We have to understand that who he's talking about in the previous ayat, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, are not just those who used to worship idols back in the era of Jahiliyyah. Not just those who have elephants for gods or multiple gods. Sometimes you and I do that same shirk inside of us. It's just khafi. It's not as open. Sometimes the very idol that we worship is ourselves. We're in this self-promotion, selfie era, are we not? Where you are now a brand in the society. There are people in this universe, in this world, in this country that get paid millions of dollars just for them to be them. Just to show up at a party or an event or an awards show. You've now become a brand. My millennials out there, you guys have become a brand. A friend of mine went to Arba'in last year in Karbala and did that famous walk from Najaf to Karbala. I asked him, how was it? It was amazing, you have to go, everything. And then he told me one thing. He said, can you imagine? He goes, just guess. What was the hottest selling item in Karbala during Arba'in? I couldn't find it anywhere, no matter where I went. I thought turba, tasbih, kafan, something. He says, no, a selfie stick was the hottest selling item in Karbala during the walk of Arba'in. A selfie stick. People would run and elbow and push and kick and get to the Dharib Imam Hussein, then turn around and click a selfie with Imam Hussein. It's comical, it's tragic. And I've spoken enough here about social media. I don't want to go down that route. I'm not against social media. I am against the idea that we are now entering the very dangerous world of worshiping ourselves as idols. So don't think that the previous ayah just talks about those in the zaman of Jahiliyyah, of the Abu Sufyans of the world. No. Many of us also, we worship small g gods, we just don't realize it. When you're going into an interview and you're shaking that woman's hand, which is not allowed because you think that your risk and your job is in her hands, that's not giving Allah His qadr. When now all of a sudden we want a liberal Islam and a watered down Islam. And even now when I talk about this, you guys are swallowing hard. There were people, could you imagine, when Trump's travel ban happened, his first attempt, his second attempt, he'll try 10 more times and 10 more times he'll fail. I traveled at least 3 or 4 times in the US. I had phone calls, I kid you not, on my phone that told me to give this up and reapply at IBM. They might still have your old job waiting for you. Maybe you can trim the beard a little bit down. Maybe you can smile more in the passport picture. Maybe you can send, some watermelon or a gift to your neighbor. Maybe you can ease up on the social media quotes that you send out in your Twitter account. Now all of a sudden I'm guilty without even being proven innocent. This is not مَا قَدَرَ اللَّهُ حَقَّ قَدَرِهِ. Because in later on verses we'll talk about the fear of Allah, not the fear of anybody else. If Allah has placed you in this part of the world, He's also placed a protective barrier around you as well. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُدَافِعُ عَنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah promises that if no one defends those who have Iman, I will defend those who have Iman. I will defend those who have Iman. I mean, you talk about what happened in Portland. You talk about when the travel ban happened. I saw images that I never thought I would see in a post 9/11 America, where there were Muslims reading Ba Jamaat inside the airport and a circle of non-Muslims protecting them. There was a time where if we got through the airport okay, that was good news. Don't pray salat, just pray salat whenever you get there. But now we have this idea of Jamaat prayer and then a circle of support or a circle of defense, non-Muslims that would root these Muslims on to keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. I was in Austin, Texas in February. The travel was just fresh. The president of that community would tell me, Sayyid, every single day when I come and open the center, there's new gifts on my door. Flowers, chocolates, and a card from a random neighbor telling me that, you know what, we're happy and honored that you're part of our community. Don't think that we want you to go. My last speech in Austin, Texas, we had 5 Jewish families from the neighboring synagogue that came and sat in my speech. And afterwards they would come and talk to me. This was unheard of 5-10 years ago. So we let them plan. But then we also have Allah's plan as well. And the qadr of Allah is to us to lean and rely and propagate this plan. Don't worry about his trip to Saudi. Doesn't affect us. So this idea of qadr of Allah is very, very important. If you are somebody right now, and all of us are in this idea of needing a little bit of Allah's help. For the sake of this verse of Surah Hajj, turn to Allah. Stop waiting for this dunya and its inhabitants to rescue you from the rubble of this dunya. They won't do it. Nobody has time. We're all going through our own rubble. If you're waiting for the phone to ring, you're waiting for someone to come and ask me how I am and rescue me, don't. Who is waiting for you is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Open the musalla, sit on that musalla, on that janamaz, and cry to Allah. Open up your hearts to Allah. The beauty of the Ahlul Bayt, the beauty of being a Shia of today, is not only have they asked you and told you to ask Allah, they've taught you how to ask Allah. What words to use for Allah. Pick up the Munajat al-Khamsin of Imam Sajjad, the 15 whispered prayers. There isn't a whispered prayer in that doesn't affect anybody in this room. Whether you are hopeful or fearful or complaining or in need, everything is there. And the beauty of which Imam Sajjad presents this dua, you and I don't have the words for it. And the boldness that the Ahlul Bayt, would show. This past Sha'ban, there's a munajat called Munajat al-Sha'baniyah. Alhamdulillah, most of you read this munajat in the month of Sha'ban. Look at the words sometimes the Ahlul Bayt would use to describe Allah. And the himmat, as they say, the boldness of the Ahlul Bayt with Allah. It shows how close they are. There's no ta'aruf, right? There's no takalluf. There's no formalities between them and Allah. It's a very straightforward relationship. He says in that same munajat that, Allah, if you grab me by the collar of my sin, I'll grab you by the collar of your mercy. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, dua mashlul at the end. I'm calling upon you like you've asked me. Now I expect you to respond to me like you promised. Oh, that's bold. That's calling out Allah. But that's the level that they're at. You and I ask, I know Allah that I'm not worthy. If you have some time, if you don't mind, maybe next Wednesday, please. No, that's not how we ask. We're asking somebody that we have yaqeen, certainty that he'll respond to me. That's what's called ma qadar Allah. This is the qadr of Allah. So in this month of Ramadan, in our first discussion from Surah Hajj, so we have to understand that Allah now has declared that anyone else that we call upon besides Him are too weak for us to get any results from. If we want to get anywhere, in Allah la qawiyyun aziz. Allah is that specific superpower in this world that crushes all other superpowers. It's up to us now to rely on Him, to ask Him for help, and to get that support we need from Him, and get that power to be able to hold on to our deen in these trying times. Inshallah, we ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give us that tawfiq to have this ashna, this love, this connection to the Quran, inshallah. We ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to accept our a'mal, to forgive our sins and those of our parents, inshallah. We ask you, Allah, our hearts today go out to the people of Iraq. These are people who are trying to fast and trying to uphold the Sharia of Allah. Those are my Iraqi brothers out there who might have family there. Our prayers are with all of you and your family. Our du'as and our love is with all of you. May Allah curse those who are looking to destroy the deen of Islam. May Allah strengthen the mustaz'afin all over the world, inshallah. And the one dua that we have just before the iftar is, of course, that we witness in our lifetime the zuhur of Imam Zamana, and that we are his ashab when he comes, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Off button. Off on the right.